Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I just wanted to remind you, a couple of my sponsors. Uphold is where I buy my XRP. It's one of the few places you can get it. And right now when I'm storing it, most of mine is going to go on my ledger. I don't have my stacks yet, but I did order it. They're estimating they're going to ship it in 2023. The Nano is what I've been using, but both of the links are at the top of the description of this video for both of these sponsors if you want to go check them out. Now, I think everybody needs a good reminder of the big picture. When a lot of times people get they get all depressed and worried and all this when the market is down and all. I don't, because I know what I hold and I know what the big picture is. This is the big picture by a Bitcoin maxi, but he knows what he's talking about here.
Adoption of technology, this evolution, it's not a revolution, it's an evolution of technology, that everything of value will be a token on a blockchain. Not a coin, not a thing. It's literally a line item on a public ledger. Everything of value will be that. And every transaction of value will happen in digital assets. Wipe out all of DTCC, which processes $1.8 quadrillion a year. That is a large number, okay? It's owned by the banks, shocking, I know. And they're really happy that it exists because it's like a mutual insurance company. They get paid. So that will all move to digital. And when it does, it will create massive wealth, the greatest wealth creation opportunity I'm going to see in my lifetime, for sure.
Yes, he is correct. That is how big this is. This is, I've told you before, this is a new asset class, but imagine this being a new asset class like stocks or bonds or these different asset classes, but imagine this being the asset class that swallows all of them. That's how I've always described it. Breaking: Japan has confirmed that it made record interventions in the foreign exchange market in October, selling the dollar worth $48 billion to support the yen currency. This is what happens when the dollar becomes a wrecking ball. And then we've got this from Zero Hedge. China, Brazil sign a deal on yuan clearing arrangement. Danger ahead, folks. Now, eGreg Crypto has an interesting chart. I think he sees a similarity between the 2020, I guess that's moving average, and the December 2023 moving average. He calls it XRP the secret. Ooh, that sounds mysterious. I like it. XRP showing extreme similarities. The A&A box in terms of price and time frame, closing above 20 MA on weekly time frame, is bullish and shows strength and momentum. If history will rhyme, then December 2023 will be fireworks for XRP. All right, so interesting stuff. Now, James Phelan had a couple of tweets on the library and the SEC case, and I think the XRP too. In the library case, the court has issued an order scheduling additional discovery on remedies, and Jeremy Hogan weighed in on this. And he says the SEC is seeking disgorgement damages against library. That is the total of the library token sales minus the legitimate business expenses. The fight here is over what legitimate business expenses there are. LBC holders will end up with a pack of gum and a paper clip in the end. This guy says, when do you think this is the end of the XRP case? Jeremy Hogan says about 40 days now, or at least for a ruling on whether XRP was sold as a security or not. Ooh, interesting. I like this. About 40, let me make sure I'm reading this right. When do you think is the end of the XRP case? About 45 days now, or at least for a ruling on whether XRP was sold as a security or not. Folks, you realize how imminent all of this really is? Any second now, any day now, any week now. The time is winding down. Then James Flynn, John Deaton will be filing a motion to file an amicus brief in Zakanoff versus Ripple in California. There, the plaintiffs claim that Ripple sold XRP as an unregistered security. They are asking the court to certify a class of all XRP holders who purchased and now hold XRP or who sold XRP at a loss. The proposed class would include XRP holders worldwide, including the 75,000 around the world who disagree with the plaintiffs in Zakhanov and say XRP is not a security. Also, the proposed class is not limited to direct sales by Ripple and includes all sales of XRP, including secondary sales. Folks, make no mistake, I've always thought that all these random cases were somehow, I mean, I'm not an attorney, but they all have to be somehow involved in the overall big picture of what the SEC is trying to do. They just do. Jeremy Hogan weighs in. Ripple's an investment contract requires post-sale obligations argument is front and center in another SEC action. Hopefully, the blue sky law argument from Ripple becomes a tsunami, and this is the case. I'm not sure what case it is. Let's see, but here they're talking about it. All right, moving along. Ashley Prosper points out something interesting because all of us have been interested in going onto this chat GBT and typing in questions. But what she's pointing out here is that the AI training for chat GPT extends up until 2021. So chat GPT has no knowledge base, I guess, on what has happened in the Ripple SEC versus Ripple case after 2020, the end of 2021. And so it can't possibly answer questions around the case that are accurate without that information. So that's interesting. Now, I saw this tweet yesterday and I have no idea what they're referring to, but anybody out there that's listening to me that can give me any insights here, I'm interested. It says Palantir versus Ripple coming soon. Remember, while everybody's looking left, nobody goes right. Accountants versus programmers, Thiel versus Thiel. Palantir versus Ripple, nobody saw it coming. I have no idea what they're referring to, but I want to know. Very interesting. Now, Stefan Huber is saying, can we finally put this freaking BS theater behind us and come to the conclusion if we are geniuses or we think we're just naive morons everyone else called us for years? No more excuses. When this case is over, I promise I'm going straight to the neurologist. Here's
you have to
Christine
think in
Lagarde.
terms of counterfactual.
What they're talking about, my understanding of what they're talking about here, folks, is all this debt. And she's acting confidently like somehow they have a plan to get rid of all this debt. And the question is how?
You have to think in terms of counterfactual. If we had not decided on March 18th, when we put together the pandemic emergency program and then subsequently increased the volume of commitment that we made to the European Union economies.
While you're listening to this, it's kind of eerie how these people almost act like the pandemic was a part of their plan, isn't it?
We would be in a devastated situation. So I don't regret any of that move that we took on that day, which was 4 months into my job, to significantly increase the size of the balance sheet, because that's all we had. Yeah. Otherwise, the economy would have collapsed and it would have been even accelerated by a financial crisis.
You had to do it. It was the COVID crisis. You say that's what we needed to do. But how do you get it?
It will come. It will come.
It will come? How is it going to come? How are they going to pay off all these crazy debts? How's the United States going to pay theirs?
In due course, yeah.
They got a scheme worked out, folks. And I believe it involves digital assets and that G word, gold.
In due course, it will come.
Yeah.
If the size of your debt problem is so big that it can't be paid off, and in fact, even inflation, which is the usual way you would seek to default on your debt slowly over time, you can't get enough inflation generated, then there is one further option, and that is you literally abandon the entire system of money and accounting. And I know that sounds unbelievably radical, but we've seen it happen before. And I explained the example of Britain in 1834, when they abandoned the traditional system they'd used for 1,000 years at that time, which was called the tally stick system. system. Anyway, bottom line was, why would you abandon a system that's worked perfectly beautifully for 1,000 years? And the answer is, you had 200 years of war debts that had accumulated. They were unable to get inflation up enough without causing social unrest. And so the government said, hey, let's actually take the tally sticks back and give people this great new innovation called paper money. In fact, we're on the brink of a similar.
All right, so they gave them a new innovation called paper money. And every time one of these transitions happens, all these people, they have to come up with some kind of scheme. How do we do this?
And the way you'll do it is you're going to move to electronic money in conjunction with blockchain. Blockchain is the new ledger and e-money is the new currency. The question is, whose e-money?
Disrupt your business model, you're going to change it, you're going to reduce your cost, you're going to expedite your transactions, and you're going to continue to inspire confidence because you will build that on the basis of an existing backbone, which is your bank and the confidence relationship that you've established with your customers. So that's where I see changes happening now. If you think of Circle and Ripples and all those, that's where they are active and helpful.
Yeah, what do you know? And then Mr. Huber's retweeting the Bank of America CEO saying they're preparing for a potential debt default. And then this is what it reminds me of is, remember when Mr. B, he's now with Link2, was over in at the Swell in London, and he said that he talked to, I can't remember which executive it was, but they said that Bank of America was sitting on the sidelines ready to use XRP. Well, remember how I said that, yeah, every time they transition away from paper money, well, I find this, I've always found this interesting. This is the 1918 San Francisco parade where they introduced bonds to the United States for the first time, the Liberty bonds in 1918, and they just, by coincidence, they were all wearing masks because there was a pandemic. Breaking, crypto exchange Gemini and Genesis reach an agreement over the EARN program. So they're all trying to work that out. So that we'll see where that goes. Then this morning, Bank of England and their HM Treasury have published a consultation paper on the digital pound, a UK central bank digital currency. Find out here. Says the digital pound would be subject to rigorous standards of privacy and data protection. It would be privacy enhancing by design and would allow users to make choices about their data. And the way I read this, folks, is the more of your privacy that you're willing to give away, the more users could secure greater benefits from sharing their data. So you'll get more benefits the more information you give to the banks and the governments. That's creepy. But inside of their paper, which is right here on page 65, they reference cross-border synchronization, a joint project with Ripple demonstrating that synchronized FX transactions in two different simulated RTGS systems can be achieved, leading to incorporation of synchronization functionality into the roadmap for renewal. And then down here, you'll see they reference the Ripple proof of concept. Sounds to me like the proof of concept was proven to work. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell your friends and family that XRP's always worked. Proof of work does not work.